Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, it is day one after the Trump conviction. We're in the aftermath and it's already potentially showing signs of backfiring against the Democrats, overplaying their hand once again. Donald Trump going out there raising $35 million in small dollar donations in just the 6 hours after Donald Trump's bogus conviction in New York City. And that is small dollar donors, and 30% of those people that donated were brand new donors, which is absolutely huge. His mugshot, he gained close to 20 million. Now he gained 35 million. You look at the Google trends for, donate to Trump versus donate to Biden. It is not even a contest. Donate to Trump is winning by a lot. It's at the highest level it's ever been, even above the, 2020 election aftermath. I think that was the previous high. But now, Donald Trump going out there raising $35 million in just several hours. I'm sure that by now, you take today into account, it's still going to be relatively high. I encourage people to give what they can. If everybody could give $25 to Donald Trump, if all of his supporters, and we could do the math on this, but if all of his supporters gave Trump $25 per month, which I know the economy's tough. I know not everybody can do it, but if you times 25 by 75 million people, you would have a ridiculous amount. You'd almost have $2 billion. So the people possibly can come together and put their money together, send it to Trump. You talk about the donors and how Trump and Biden are essentially tied in donors. Donald Trump very well may have taken the lead once again in raw donors, something that he was, in a deficit to Biden in 2020 by like 2.2 million raw donations, or raw donors, I should say. But now Trump's base is fired up, and you see that. And that is small dollar donors, and we don't know how they're quantifying that. And it could be that those are donors that just donate individually with like the personal maximum cap of some 5,000 or whatever. But if they are really talking about donations under $200, we know that there were a lot of people that gave a lot more than that, including myself, a lot of people. He likely raised a lot more, but still, even so, that's still an impressive showing regardless, and it still doesn't take into account the amount of big donors that are pouring in money because they realize this is bogus. They want to help Trump across the finish line to rectify this, and that's exactly what they're doing. Okay, I finished recording the video, and we have a new update about this. Donald Trump has raised upwards of $52 million in the past 24 hours, which is more money than Joe Biden raised the entirety of last month. And that was down. Biden's on a downward trajectory, and Donald Trump single-handedly matched last month's total in the past day and did it mostly with small dollar donors. That is absolutely huge. This is the update. Now we'll go back to the rest of the video. And it is backfiring. The only people that genuinely have deluded themselves into believing this was some unbiased rule of law brought case happen to be people who hate Donald Trump, and deep down, they even know it's bogus, but they just hate Trump. They want to see him convicted regardless. That's why they go along with this. That's why they believe this. They're not actually viewing the case objectively, and that's that. These people are not smart people, and they think they are, but they're midwits, and they just want to go along with it. The only people that believe Trump did anything that was illegal, these happen to be resist libs. And we understand this is from a DA who's got a crime-ridden area. Crime is much higher than it was during the Trump administration, 4 or 5 years ago. And instead, he's trying to go out there and prosecute Donald Trump over obscure business things, trying to stretch the law just to get him on something innocuous that basically was reviewed by the FEC. And they said, no, Trump didn't do anything wrong. We're not going to touch this. And if he did, believe me, it would have been reviewed, especially back then ahead of the 2020 election. But no, they couldn't. Now they're rehashing old stuff. And the more they rehash old stuff, the more it backfires. I've seen a lot of people saying they've never supported Trump before, but now is their time because they realize the system is indeed broken, and that Trump talking about the rigged system, well, this proves him right. This absolutely does nothing but prove him right. You have a judge and a jury that are both very biased. The judge, his daughter, works for the Biden campaign and put a gag order on Trump to basically fine him for talking about it. That is unethical. He was very conflicted, should have never presided over the case. And even if you want to say, well, technically the judge is just there to arbit the case, well, they get to decide the rules of the case and they can direct the jury how to convict as well. And in terms of the jury, before we even get to the political aspect of it, you have a jury that was instructed that they didn't even need to agree on what Trump was guilty on to convict him on everything. They could have been split with different crimes, but it doesn't matter. That's very, very unprecedented in the history of our country, our justice system, which again, it's not been perfect. We know that there's been a lot of questionable corruption in our justice system over the years, not the way the left likes to talk about it through like a racial lens or whatever, but politically speaking, absolutely. And when you have a jury that is selected, none of those people based off of the news that they got were right-leaning. The one Truth Social guy probably was a hate watcher. He followed Michael Cohen on Twitter. There was basically nobody that really watched Fox or Newsmax or something like that. And again, you would ideally have an unbiased jury, but you cannot have an unbiased jury. You can't have that in Manhattan, in a place that votes for Biden by dictator margins. You can't. It's like trying Zelensky in the middle of Russia. Do you really expect that to go over well? Or Biden, indict him for something innocuous in rural Oklahoma, and then you got all these MAGA hat wearing people in the jury. Just use common sense here. Those people are going to end up convicting Biden regardless. Doesn't matter if Biden's innocent or Biden's guilty. It could be any Democrat. They're going to be convicted. That's how it's going to go. So this is no different regardless of the crime. Then we actually get to the crime, and then there is no crime. There's no crime proven beyond a reasonable doubt that we know, but still it doesn't quite matter. It doesn't matter when the jury's already made up their mind going into the case. We hope for one or two people to hang the jury. It didn't happen. And is it backfiring? Maybe. Polling so far is mixed, but I tell people that, again, these are polls made in one day. And some of them look good for Trump, some don't look too good, but they don't look too bad either, especially being a poll conducted right after the trial. And Daily Mail, which does lean more towards Trump, they're showing that Trump's favorability rating went up by 6 points after he was found guilty. A lot of people saying it was a waste of taxpayer money, and it was. Everybody knew that Donald Trump paid off this woman. They're basically saying he did it to conceal a crime from the public. Well, what crime did he conceal from the public? Hush money's not illegal. He gave Cohen money. Cohen, from what we understand in the testimony, Trump may not have even fully known about this to begin with, but even so, Trump didn't pay him back until 2017, paying a lawyer. It's a legal expense. Oh no, he can't do that for some reason. Again, if this was anybody else in New York City, they wouldn't have even brought it to trial, and that's the main takeaway. But there was no crime being concealed. Everybody knows it. The left knows it. Alan Dershowitz knows it. Jonathan Turley knows it. These highly respected legal scholars know it. And the left deep down knows it's bullshit. They know that this is just a case of a justice system gone rogue, targeting political opponents. They're just happy because they're targeting the guy that they don't like. And if they just came out and said that, we want him in jail because he's Donald Trump, they'd be honest. It'd be very honest. And that would probably, obviously hurt to them in a public setting, but you could probably respect it more if they're going to be more upfront with their intentions instead of just lying to the American public, like Joe Biden saying Trump is threatening democracy for questioning our judicial system. Biden's running a campaign on questioning the judicial system. He did it with BLM in 2020. He did it with, even now, with Roe v. Wade. He's questioning the Supreme Court. He's basically saying the Supreme Court is broken, it's corrupt, whatever. So that's okay. But Donald Trump defending himself when he objectively did nothing wrong, in reality, no, you can't question the judicial system. And it's true. Trump has said the system, he used this word back in 2016, mainly, it's a rigged system against me and against you, the American people. And when it's blatantly obvious that it is rigged against him, then the American people, well, they can resonate with it. And all the talk that Trump has used over the past, 8 years, well, now it's become true. It's become reality. You're seeing it unfold in front of people's very eyes. But in terms of some of the other polling, we saw a poll out of Echelon Insights. It shows Biden leads by 2, but Donald Trump did not go down in this poll. And here's the problem. This poll has 400 people, for one. The other poll had 400. So you have to, I guess, take both with the same, grain of salt. And this same pollster last month released a poll with 1,000 people that had him down 3. So, by the same logic, you could say Trump gained a point from last month, even with the whole conviction. And again, this is a pollster that was very pro-DeSantis in the primary, kind of like an anti-Trump Republican. There's possibly a little bit of a motive to say, well, maybe Trump is losing a little bit of ground, but even then, not a lot of ground was lost. I mean, let's be real here. That's like a rounding error, basically. And then you look at Echelon Insights, their last several polls, they have thousands of people, obviously, but their sample size is just based off of adults, and there's a lot of undecideds, and a lot of these polls, the May 7th through 14th poll had Biden and Trump tied at 46. And again, this pollster had Biden leading like a month ago by 4, and now the poll that came out now has Biden leading by 2 points, with just a bunch of people that responded today only. Not the best poll put together. So what I'll say is we'll see what happens in the coming days. You'd expect the first day after the conviction to be the worst day for Trump. You could also make the case that maybe it would be better in some polls. It just depends on the response bias that we end up seeing. But over the next week or two, that's going to kind of give us more insight into how this race is moving. Personally, I think it's a little bit of a wash, one could say, but the fact that Trump is using it to fundraise, and he's got a lot of Republicans defending him, even Republicans who are not even like supporting him, or some Republicans who have never even supported him before, rhinos, they're all saying, yeah, what's happening in New York is bogus. So the fact that Trump is getting defended from people who don't even like him about this, and he's not getting defections from people that already like him, kind of showcases that I don't think this is going to necessarily hurt him a whole lot. The convicted felon label, it plays well to resist libs. Is that going to really sway independents? Oh, he's a convicted felon. When they know that the case is bogus and politically motivated, I think if anything, they're like, yeah, Biden's overplaying his hand. He says, oh, I'm not behind the trial. He can't shut up about the trial. He's asked about it, walking away, he smirks like he's knows he's the one behind it. And he is the one behind it, absolutely. It's going to come out eventually. It will. I mean, we already know about the whole Atlanta thing, that there was some coordination between the Biden administration and Georgia. Who knows what exactly was true about New York, but the indictments were filed. Why? Because Trump announced he was running for president. They could have brought this how long ago? Now they have to change the rules. You have a DA, there's a fat scumbag who campaigned solely on, I'm going to get Trump. Didn't specify why, still hasn't specified why, but I guess he got him because it's a humiliation ritual. Biden and his administration, he's got his goons running rampant, but is it backfiring? It seems like it is. It was a very dark day in history just based off of the fact that you have the American system targeting the political opponents, or the opposition leader even, de facto speaking, in Donald Trump. To this current administration, he's being charged, and they're trying to imprison him over innocuous things, and the sentencing date is right before the RNC. You see what's at play, but we sanction other countries for doing less than half of what's happening here right now. But okay, just rule of law. Yeah, apply the same logic to Russia or China. None of these people would do that, and they would, again, be wrong to do so. But because it's here, because it's Biden, because it's Trump, oh, it's fine, it's fine. This is completely normal. And what it's going to embolden, not only is it going to likely backfire and help Trump win in the election, and I do believe he is going to avoid jail time, because I think that they know that they'd be playing with fire if they did that. What it's going to do is Trump is going to go out there. He's going to take the oath of office. And now he has more of a reason to lock up these people. Lock her up back in 2016. You have some people that'll try to come in and say, well, it's hypocritical that Trump is being held accountable and the people are upset. It's like he's not being held accountable. This is bogus. Hillary's problem was the exact opposite, actually. The fact that she was able to be let go for doing something obviously wrong that anybody else would have been indicted for. But then Donald Trump, there's no crime. All the legal scholars agree. But just because he's Trump, he has to be tried in an unfair trial to begin with, and he's going to be hit with this label that Hillary Clinton should have been hit with. So again, that's kind of the main problem. But now, Trump has a reason to lock up these people, because I understood, you had the lock her up chance, but when you want to unify the country and, have your approval rating go up and get everybody on board, then he thought that he would be able to do that more effectively by playing ball with some of these people. But you can't do that. And he learned the hard way. And now he's got a reason to apply what he's learned. And it's going to be epic. But we need to get out and vote. And we need to donate money to Trump. Again, if you just go to my Twitter, the pinned tweet right there has the donation link. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.